I am Mark Jerome Eptinio.
I am Jan P. Salonga.
And I am Vincent Santiago.
Good day everyone, welcome to our presentation today, and in this video, we are here in front of all of you to tackle about the 5 pillars or components of Philippine criminal justice system. Are you ready to watch and listen? So let's get started. So first, let us know what is the criminal justice system. Criminal justice system is the machinery that society uses in the prevention and control of crime. The process is the result of all efforts made by law enforcement, prosecutors, defense attorneys, judges, prison officers, and the community as a whole to prevent and regulate crime. The orderly process of events from the time of a person is arrested or pulled out of the community. Moreover, it is a process or system used in the community to investigate crime, apprehend those suspected of committed, prosecuted them in a court, and punish them if found guilty, while also making provision for their correction and rehabilitation. Edwin H. Sutherland has defined criminology as the body of knowledge regarding crime as a social phenomenon. He was an American sociologist, and he is considered one of the most influential criminologists of the 20th century. This is the primary concern of criminology. The definition goes further. It includes within the scope of the processes of making law, breaking law, and reacting to the breaking of laws.
Criminology explains the origin and causes of crimes and delinquency. The causes of crime comprise psychological, social, biological, and economic aspects. Causes of delinquency, also called juvenile delinquency, are risks related to family features, second understanding of criminal and deviant behavior. Although crime and deviance are often used interchangeable, they differ in a few subtle ways. Deviant behavior is against social norms and laws, while committing a crime is against social laws.
Criminal justice system. It is the activity of agency of social control that are referred to a system that conveys social idea and understands. They are distinct entities that allow institutional rules to be put into action into a community. They serve as executive bodies that ensure norms and upheld. Also, its expert and practitioner cannot begin to be effectively formulate policy, plan, and program toward fighting crime without a more in-depth understanding of the nature and causes of crime.
Five pillars of Philippines criminal justice system. Law enforcement, prosecution, court, correction, and community.
Law enforcement. The conduct of arrest, search, and seizure is the prime mover of the front line of the criminal justice system. Additionally, the responsibility for making arrests, questioning suspect, and looking for evidence are just a few examples of actions that fall under the law enforcement function's responsibility. Their work consists of the prevention and control of crimes, the enforcement of laws, and effecting the arrest of offenders, including the conduct of lawful searches and censures to gather necessary evidence so that a complaint may be filed at the prosecution office. Identified as the first point of contact with the community, this pillar initiates the CJS machinery of arresting a people believed to be a suspect. Prosecution is conduct of preliminary investigation to determine probable cause and its conduct of inquest proceedings to assess the validity of the person arrested for the commission of a crime. And while the focus of this pillar is the speedy disposition of case, its principal task is the investigation of criminal complaints emanating from the community and the law enforcement agencies, and bring these complaints to successful prosecution in the judicial system. Also, the term prosecution refers to the legal term in the case that seeks to establish the guilt of the defendant.
The court conducts a trial to determine the guilt of the accused. And in court, the prosecution is given the chance to demonstrate that there is the substantial proof of the accused's guilt. The accused is also granted a day in a court to refute the charge against him. The goal of the court pillar is not merely to adjudicate cases, but to do so in accordance with the rule of law and without sacrificing the quality of justice. Interestingly, to note, the overall performance of the CJS may be determined by the performance of the court pillar. Correction is to reform and rehabilitate offender, and it's known as the weakest pillar of the criminal justice system. Correction is the monitoring of those who have been detained, found guilty of or given sentence for crime. This pillar undertakes the reformation of offender. The rehabilitation of offender is the aim at their eventual assimilations into society.
The last one is community. Community is the wildest pillar of the criminal justice system. The community pillar is the most critical and useful component of the criminal justice system, considering its massive and pervasive composition. Members of the community pillar are regarded to be both duty holders, claim holders in the administration of justice. They have the responsibility to assist law enforcement and the courts in solving crime. The importance of the community pillar cannot be overemphasized. In its own manner, it really participates in two main responsive roles of criminal justice system. First, the crime prevention, and the second is the victim prevention. Furthermore, this pillar collectively imposes limitation on individual behavior of citizens that deter criminality and criminal behavior for the common good of civilized and democratic society. Meanwhile, in the relation to the second, it has been recommended that community must disseminate more information regarding the roles and function of the other components of the criminal justice system, as well as the broaden its own in order to responsibly contribute of victimization prevention. Importance of coordination among the five pillars or components of the Philippines criminal justice system. By this point, it should be clear that the Philippine criminal justice system encompasses more than simply the law enforcement agencies, the government's prosecution branch, the courts, the penal system, and the local population. All of these pillars, taken as a whole, make up the criminal justice system. It should also be clear by this point that all of five of these pillars must function quickly and in perfect harmony with one another for the criminal justice system to be effective. Any perceived falling of the criminal justice system in a specific case brought about by a weakness in one pillar cannot be attributed to any one of the other's pillar. Thank you everyone for listening.
I hope you learned a lot.
And also gain a new knowledge for today's lesson.